this press conference after the first day of the informal meeting of Justice and Home Affairs Ministers. This is also the first informal meeting under the Estonian Presidency. First, Home Affairs Minister Anvelt and Commissioner Avramopoulos will present the results of the meeting, and then we'll move forward to your questions. So without any further introductions, Minister, please.
Thank you, Jüri. I will start in English language, but as I see here a lot of Estonian media colleagues, let's say that I will answer the questions in Estonian language. So, firstly, about today's conclusions. Firstly, I want to thank all the participants to very, very active discussion today. Topics were not easy, and time schedule was very tight, but I think it is now at least clear in what direction we are going to go. And makes me happy to say that Italy was also pleased with today's discussion. First of all, I want to say that Italy is not alone, and we need action, but we also need further discussions on the concrete measures. Among those, the Code of Conduct for the NGOs received a lot of support. I think our debate shows a good balance between the importance of stepping up our actions on the external dimensions, but also the importance of the internal dimension in Italy, where a number of actions also need to be continued. In this respect, most of the ministers welcomed the measures listed in the action plan, which Commissioner Avramopoulos will present to you in more detail in a minute. We will continue discussions in different working levels already during the next days. To start with our directors of migration, we'll meet next Tuesday in the same room when our meeting was to take this forward. Our ambassadors will meet then in Coreper on Wednesday, and the presidency has convened a high-level meeting of European Union Crisis Mechanism IPCR for next Thursday. So hopefully we can make concrete progress already over the next days. But I say it again, Italy is not alone and will not have to act alone. On solidarity topic, Estonian presidency aims to approach the topic of migration in a holistic manner. This includes tackling migratory flows outside the European Union, improving external border management, and strengthening effectiveness of returns. And I'm glad that our proposed approach to work forward was mostly shared. We will come back to this in autumn with the outcome and hopefully propose possible elements on which we can see additional agreement forming. The return policy, my favorite topic, is one of the key issues when we talk about the migration. Today we talked about the internal aspects of return. I'm happy to say that there is an agreement on the need to also work with the effectiveness of internal aspects of return policy. I can see that we should further explore the link between asylum and return policy, and it's important to ensure the swift issuance of decisions and enforcement of returns. Work at technical level will proceed on the proposed measures as soon as possible. During the lunch, we had discussion around Ukraine. We're all aware that stability in our neighborhood is important for the stability and security of the European Union. And Ukraine is one of our priorities during the presidency for exactly that reason. The conflict in eastern Ukraine is happening right on the doorstep to the European Union. It is important to help our colleagues in Ukraine to tackle serious and organized crime and develop their systems of integrated border management. Based on our discussion today, we concluded that there are already many great initiatives in progress, but there is a room for improvement and a long way to go. And the last topic today was interoperability. And today's debate has clearly shown that the broad support of the need to advance quickly to ensure relevant data is available where needed. And when discussing current proposals further, at expert level, the presidency will follow the guidance given today. As for the future of interoperability and further discussions with Parliament and Commission, I will task my team the presidency team to follow expectations that were raised today, and we will also ask the team to address the concerns expressed. And I believe that the well-working IT systems and interoperability are the way to deliver high standards of data protection and ensure fundamental rights are safeguarded. And concerning the matter of law enforcement access to databases, the presidency plans to discuss this very important topic already in 2 weeks' time during the informal COSI-CATS joint meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I'll give the floor to Commissioner Avramopoulos.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Let me start by expressing, first of all, my thanks and my congratulations to the Estonian Presidency, and personally to my good friend Andres for the excellent organization of the very first informal meeting here in Tallinn. It is clear that we have a lot of homework ahead of us in the coming 6 months, and I'm glad that we share the same priorities when it comes to migration, borders, and security. We have made a very important, I would say considerable progress as a union in managing the migration crisis. We are not where we were 2.5 years ago. In the Eastern Mediterranean, arrivals have gone down, have decreased with 97%. In contrast, numbers are rising on the central Mediterranean route. But in the last 6 months, we have improved our cooperation with Libya. We have increased our support to the Libyan Coast Guard to help them better patrol their sea borders and conduct search and rescue operations. We are supporting voluntary returns from Libya to countries of origin in cooperation with IOM. More migrants have already returned in the first half of 2017 than in the whole of 2016. In the Sahel region, we are supporting countries like Niger to better manage their borders. Relocations from Italy have increased from 2,000 to 8,000 since the beginning of the year. Taking into account the urgency of the situation, we need to further step up our work. That is why, on Tuesday, the Commission adopted an action plan setting out a series of immediate actions to support Italy, to stem the flow and show solidarity. As Andres said before, we are standing by Italy in these difficult moments because, yes, Italy is under huge pressure. But as we have said many times, Italy is not alone. And the debate here in Tallinn proves that all member states, and of course the Commission, we are fully supporting Italy in these difficult and pressing moments. These actions should be taken by all member states, including, as it is obvious, Italy itself, the Commission, and all European Union agencies. This action plan implements the fundamental principles of our migration policy, showing solidarity with those fleeing war and persecution, whilst at the same time stepping up our work to return those who are not and have no right to stay in Europe. We all now need to intensify and accelerate our efforts to turn the commitments made by EU leaders recently into reality. We had an open and frank discussion today on everyone's responsibilities, and I'm glad to see that ministers are committed to swiftly start this work, notably to contribute much more substantially to the EU-Africa Trust Fund, to accelerate relocations for all those eligible, to better coordinate the maritime operations to save lives at sea and fight smugglers, and also to jointly step up engagements with Tunisia, Egypt, Algeria, as well as Libya, to improve search and rescue operations, to improve returns internally and externally. First, we agreed to mobilize our own internal capabilities alongside those of the European Borders and Coast Guard to support the return of irregular migrants from Italy. Secondly, we committed to step up negotiations on readmission agreements with many countries of origin and using all leverages at our disposal, including our visa policy. The situation in Italy is yet another stark reminder of the need to pursue our work on a genuine and fair reform of Dublin and our entire asylum system. We need a crisis-resistant system. Our Maltese friends have done a very good work, important preparatory work for that. Discussions now have to advance. Now, turning to the discussions we have had today on security. Recent incidents have demonstrated the importance of linking existing and future EU information systems for security and more borders management. Information must be available when it is needed and where it is needed in real time. This is why I welcome the importance that the Estonian presidency will give to improve information exchange at EU level over the next 6 months. Last week, we proposed to strengthen our EU agency in charge of our information system, EU LISA, which is based, as you know, here in Tallinn. With this proposal, EU LISA will become a digital center of excellence and the nerve center of our actions to achieve interoperability of our information systems. I know they will make good progress on this legislative file. We want to make sure that EU LISA can deliver the technical solutions to make interoperability a reality by 2020. I also welcome the commitment of the Member States to finalize the negotiations on Eurodac, the Schengen Information System, and ETIAS by the end of this year. All our work on information systems is key to strengthen our external borders. I look forward to continue working closely together with Andres and the Estonian presidency to move forward on all these issues in the next 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We will now move to questions. So please state your name, the media you work for, and to who you address the question. Start with Mark here in the middle.
Good afternoon, Mark Beberkorn, Volkskrant, the Netherlands. I have 2 questions, if you allow me. The first is for both of you, because you stressed both quite sometimes that Italy is not alone. In the letter Mr. Anvelt, the Italian minister, sent to you, he asked actually for 2 things. One is the regionalization of Frontex, meaning open up harbors in other countries. And 2 is change the criteria for the eligibility for the relocation. On both questions, you got a no. So what do you mean with Italy doesn't stand alone? Second question is about the future of the asylum policy. Because, I mean, what you've been talking today, the action plan and the code of conduct is actually more crisis management. I wonder, was there also a discussion today between the ministers to say how the EU asylum policy would look like in 5 years' time? Thanks.
Well, can I start?
You can start.
First of all, let me start from the second question. Not only in some years from now, hopefully quite soon, the new Dublin will be a more fair Dublin. This is what was lacking before. Because when Dublin was adopted some years ago, the situation was not as it is today. So we want a more balanced, a more fair Dublin. We have started working on that, and I believe that very soon we shall be in a position to make some announcements. Because this crisis, this unprecedented phenomenon, unfortunately, will stay for many, many years. So all European countries must be better prepared for that. And during the discussions today, we even addressed another issue, another dimension, of whether Europe should be better prepared by adopting a common European asylum system, and this directly has to do with the other parameters of managing the migration in general. Now, on the letters, of course, Anders will answer to this very first question you asked us. Yes, Italy is not alone. Italy is under huge pressure, I said before. So, having discussed this issue with our Italian friends, and in order to show solidarity today, we made a very important step forward for substantial support to Italy. On Triton mandate, because that was the substance of your question before, we all know that the Triton, the purpose of Triton is, as it currently stands, is clear. More work, however, is needed within Europe, but also with our North African partners and neighbors to share the burden and ensure that Italy is not left alone. The European Borders and the Coast Guard will have a discussion next week on Triton's operational plan with the Italian authorities and other member states involved. On disembarkation, because this is what you are meaning through your question, this specific issue was not discussed today. The next steps now are the discussions that will take place with the European Borders and Coast Guard, as I said before, next week, and the code of conduct under preparation by the Italians.
Thank you, Dimitri. Ma lisan eesti keeles. I have to put on, yeah. If you don't know Estonia, unfortunately. Volinik Avramopoulos tegelikult ütles suurem osa ära. Täna me arutasime konkreetselt tegutsemisplaani, millega välja tulla tänasest Itaalia kriisist. Kõik need punktid, mis oli selle, ütleme, tegevusplaani või tegutsemisplaani eelnõus, kõik need punktid said ministritelt toetuse ja need suunatakse lähipäevil, mitte lähinädalatel, lähikuudel. Nagu ma ütlesin, teisipäeval, kolmapäeval, neljapäeval erinevad töögrupid kogunevad, kes hakkavad läbi vaatama nii käitumisjuhist NGO-dele kui ka teisi selle tegutsemisplaani punkte, et siis tuua nad tegelikult ka juba otsustamislauale. Mõned nendest punktidest, mis puudutavad näiteks Frontexit, on Frontexil oma operatiivtegevuse laiendamiseks. Seda nad saavad teha sama operatsioon Triton ka ilma poliitilise kooskõlastuseta, operatiivselt reageerida. Samuti näiteks vajadust, kui on vaja kaasata täiendavaid kiirreageerimisjõudusid teistest Euroopa Liidu riikidest. Mis puudutab ümberpaigutamist Itaaliast, siis on ju selge arusaam, me teame täna, et need 10 000, kes on tulnud, need on majandusmigrandid ja nendega tuleb käituda viisakalt vastavalt inimõigustele, aga selle raames nad ka tagasi saata sinna nendesse riikides, kus nad pärit on. See on ainukene võimalus selleks, et mitte Euroopa liikmesriikide omavahelist saavutatud balanssi taas lõhkuma hakata. Küsimus ei ole nendes inimestes, kes vajavad rahvusvahelist kaitset. Küsimus on nendes inimestes, kes kasutavad ära neid nõrki kohti, mis kindlasti Euroopa Liidu välispiiri valvamises veel on. Ja kasutavad ära näiteks seda, et Liibüa on praegu sellises olukorras riik, kus tegelikult tugev vastaspool, või ütleme riigi pool, nendele kuritegelike jõududele, kes tegelevad inimsmugeldamisega, puuduvad. Ja ka siin võeti vastu väga selge otsus suurendada rahastamist Euroopa-Aafrika usaldusfondi. Ka see üleskutse tuli nii voliniku poolt kui ka minu poolt täna, sest selleks, et neid samu Liibüa jõudusid tugevdada, et ka näiteks seal rahastada paremini seal juba olevaid pagulasraagreid, millega praegu tegelevad siis ÜRO vastavad ametkonnad, et seal oleks inimeste võimalik hoida, ümber paigutada normaalsetes inimväärilistes tingimustes. Aitäh.
Okay.
Let me add something on that. We called on member states to do more relocation. You know, the problem in Italy, that's why I want to support Italy, is that the majority of the ones who arrive in Italy, they are irregular migrants. So for Italy, return is more important. And we focused on that during our discussions today, enhancing the mandate and the role of the European Borders and Coast Guard, which was the agency that can undertake these return operations. But as I said during my introductory remarks, we have to do more in our cooperation with third countries. Very soon, we are going to meet in Tunis on the 24th of July. There, the presidency, Andres will be there as well, and ministers from all these countries in the region. We help Italy by better managing the southern borders of Libya. This is very, very important. You know that we have already started cooperating with the Libyan authorities in the field of training of their Coast Guard. We provide them with the means and the tools. Italy is providing them with the vessels in order to better manage the sea borders. So it is a more comprehensive policy in order to support Italy. And this is what we mean when we say that Italy is not alone. And I would like once again to commend the Italian authorities and personally Minister Minniti for the excellent job he is doing. And we are going to support Italy in order to fulfill all its commitments within the country. So that's why I said before, we had a very open, frank, friendly discussion aiming at one and only one thing: how to support Italy during these difficult moments.
Thank you. The lady in the middle there on the fourth row.
Anette Parksepp, Eesti Rahvusringhääling. Rahvusvahelised...
One moment. Thank you.
Rahvusvahelised inimõiguste organisatsioonid on olnud selle Euroopa Komisjoni plaani suhtes väga kriitilised, eriti selles osas, mis puudutab koostööd Liibüaga ja rannikuvalvega. Et Amnesty International ütles, et the Commission's action plan to support Italy is a woefully inadequate plan that does little to address the dire situation in the Central Mediterranean and the lack of EU security. Mu küsimus on selles, et kuidas te seda kriitikat täna arvesse võtsite?
I said this morning at a doorstep statement arriving here that NGOs are our partners and their role is complementary to what we try to do. But the basic principles upon which our policy is based is the same principles that NGOs are serving. So we are there, cooperating with them on the ground when it comes to addressing the challenges of the migration crisis. So we acknowledge and commend their role. Specifically on search and rescue operations. The idea behind this code of conduct is how to make our relations more functional on the ground and better coordinated. This is the purpose. On our action plan, overall, the situation right now is not sustainable anymore. So we have to do something. Our duty is to save lives, and this duty remains unchanged. But we need to stem the flows. Everybody should understand it. The answer lies on equipping the Libyan Coast Guard, as I said before, to save lives within its own territorial waters, where they are most often lost, improving conditions in Libya and opening up safe passageways of resettlement. This is where we shall put emphasis, where we shall focus our efforts. We are living up to our humanitarian imperative to offer refuge to those fleeing war and persecution. But those who do not need protection have to be returned. This is a very crystal clear message we have sent a long time ago and dissuaded to risk their lives in the first place. So, to conclude, we do not consider it as a criticism, but as a concern. Now everything is clarified. So they are partners on the ground in our fight to give an end to the drama of these people, to provide them with support and security, but yes, we have to better coordinate and organize our common actions.
Ma lisan siia, et võib-olla natuke asja selgemaks teha veel. Meil on olemas Vahemeres vabaühendused, nii see NGO nimetus eesti keeles kõlaks, ja riiklikud struktuurid, kas siis riikide omad, Euroopa ühenduse omad. Ja kui nende vahel ei ole koordinatsiooni, siis võrrelge seda olukorda sellega, kui on näiteks metsatulekahju ja metsatulekahju tegelevad ühel ajal vabatahtlikud päästjad ja riiklikud päästjad, kelle vahel ei ole mitte mingisugust koordinatsiooni ega koostööd. Ma arvan, et see ei pruugi lõppeda ei tuletõrjatele ega metsale päris hästi. Nii et ma arvan, et see sama võti selle küsimuse lahendamise on just koostöö korraldamine. Kuidas käib infovahetus, kuidas suheldakse üksteisega ja kõik selline asi. Kui me räägime Liibüast, siis eelkõige on Euroopa Liidu ülesanne praegu otsida partnerid, otsida neid inimesi, kes aitavad kaitsta Liibüa territoriaalvett või päästa inimesi sealt. Ja me ei saa ignoreerida, olenemata sellest, mis võim seal on või seal võimu ei ole, ühte suurt territooriumi, kust liigub Euroopa poole üle kogu maailma, mitte Liibüast endast, üle kogu maailma migrantide vood, nii Aafrikas kui ka näiteks Bangladeshist, mis on üks suurim voog, kus tuleb. Nii et ma arvan, et meil ei olegi teist võimalust. Me peame selle poole püüdlema, et me saaksime ka Liibüaga selle mingite osapooltega korraliku koostöö.
Okay, gentleman in blue there.
Tervist, Mait Ots, uudisteagentuur BNS küsis ka eesti keeles. Ja minu küsimus puudutab ka Itaaliat, et kuidas te mõlemad olete rahul Itaalia koostöövalmiduse ja sooviga teiste riikidega koostööd teha. Ja minu küsimus põhineb sellel, et Eesti ei ole siiani saanud vastu võtta, ümber paigutada Itaaliast ühtegi põgenikku, kuna on teatavad vaidlused kahe riigi vahel ja kuuldavasti sama probleem on ka Leedul. Et kas nüüd, kui Euroopa Liit pakub Itaaliale erinevat moodi abi, kas selleks on ka mingid eritingimusi, et Itaalia saaks selle abi vastu võtta? Aitäh.
No ma arvan, et eriti tänases olukorras me liigume praegu jõudsalt lahenduste poole. Olukord on teine, kui ta oli ehk aasta tagasi, kui me neid läbirääkimisi alustasime. Ja kindlasti on meil lähiajal ees seisvad läbirääkimised Itaalia võimudega. Ja see on ka üks soovitus olnud ka komisjoni poolt neile, et seda koostööd parandada ja lasta ligi. Ja mis ma tahan öelda veel juurde on see, et mida kriitilisemaks selline põgenikekriis muutub ja mida rohkem on muret sellega, et rahvusvahelise kaitse vajavad inimesi on seal vähem kui majandusmigrante, siis on arusaadav liikmesriikide huvi nende inimestega viia läbi ka täiendavad intervjuud. Aga üldiselt ma tahan öelda, et tänane koosolek oli meil pea 3 tundi läks selle sama küsimuse arutamisele ja me jõudsime enamus punktides, võib öelda pea kõigis punktides Itaaliaga kompromissile, arusaamisele, teineteise mõistmisele. Ja nagu ma rõhutasin oma sissejuhatuses, Itaalia minister isiklikult tuli mulle juurde ja ütles, et on tänase päeva ja otsustega rahul ja palus lihtsalt rõhutada veel ka seda, et kui me siit poliitikute laua tagant nüüd laiali lähme, et siis tõesti hakkab töö ametnike tasemel, meie saadikute tasemel lähipäevil. Ja nagu ma ütlesin, need samad kohtumised, kus arutatakse juba üksikasju, ka tehnilisi üksikasju, hakkavadki toimuma sisuliselt esimene kohtumine juba järgmise nädala teisipäeval siin samas majas.
I think we have time for
Sorry.
Excuse me. Please, Commissioner.
The conditions are in the relocation decision. As you understand, dialogue is key for that. Between receiving countries, case of Italy, or sending countries, the case of Italy. You asked about Estonia, and the minister replied. But let me add something on that. When we talk about relocation, I grabbed this opportunity to say that I'm not very happy with how some member states have so far responded to our call for more relocation. I remind you that 1.5 years ago, we had put a goal, 160,000 to be relocated. The numbers are very low. But I'm more optimistic because during the last months, the numbers have increased. More and more countries are taking part in our common effort to relocate people. So there are, yes, some few last remaining countries. So right now from here in Tallinn, I extend to them a very clear signal. You have not a lot of time in front of you, but do it as soon as possible. This is a common European policy. We have adopted it together in Luxembourg 2 years ago. It is mandatory, and it will prove what do we really mean when we talk about solidarity. Solidarity, as I have repeatedly said, is not a slogan. It is something that is putting in question the very core of the existence of the European Union.
One final question. We're running out of time. Patricia.
Anvelt Press Agency. I have 2 questions. I've heard before this commitment for Africa in terms of resources, but we haven't seen very much yet. As an Italian, I appreciate it very much that it has been reiterated a commitment today, but I was wondering how much are we looking for, and did someone pledge something today in terms of funds? This was the first question. And the second question is in terms of returns. You're saying there's much need of returns. I'm wondering if you set a target of how many returns you want to have from Italy.
All the ones who are not eligible, they have to be returned. It's not a question of numbers.
Yeah,
it's a question of a principle.
Yeah, but again, I've heard before the fact that there's a need of stepping up the returns, that the agencies have to mobilitate, and the member states as well, with Italy to do this. But numbers seem to be still very low. I mean, I've heard this
I agree with you.
for many months.
That's why we step up our efforts in order to have more returns in the near future.
Yeah, but
that
this
was
time,
the goal.
But I mean, this was said so many times before.
Let's see whether it will be said many times in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ja ma võib-olla lisaks paar asja, et esiteks täna kõlas ka üleskutse ka voliniku poolt, nagu ma ütlesin, ka minu poolt, et panustada rohkem sellesse samasse Euroopa-Aafrika usaldusfondi. Mul on siin teile rõõm teatada, kui te seda informatsiooni ole, näiteks Eesti valitsus tegi esmaspäeval otsuse lisada juba meie poolt antud 450 000 1 miljon eurot sinna. Ja kui eestlastel ei ole omane võib-olla selline uhkuse tunne, aga mul on uhke selle pärast, sest ma arvan, et niimoodi edasi liikudes me saaksime selle sama Aafrika usaldusfondi tegevust väga tõhusalt toetada ja täna nii mõnigi riik ütles, et nad lähiajal kavatsevad väga tõsiselt seda teha. Mis puudutab ka ümberpaigutamist ja selle, mitte tagasisaatmist ja selle vähest efektiivsust, jah, siis see on probleem. Siin peab mõtlema laiemalt, siin peab mõtlema ka, mitte mõtlema, aga ka kiiresti arutama Frontexi rolli juures. Frontex tänasel päeval teeb tagasisaatmisi, aga selle tõhustamist ja arvu suurendamist, tema rolli suurendamist just Euroopa Liidu tasemel, minnes siis üksik liikmesriikidelt just Euroopa Liidu laiemale tasemele. Ja üks väga oluline asi, mis puudutab ka tagasisaatmist, kus on Euroopa Liidul meil vaja kõik koos teha veel tõsiseid samme, on ka muideks sama teema, millest ma rääkisin, mis on ka meie andmebaaside koostalitusvõime, sest nii kaua kui Euroopa Liidu andmebaasid, need mis on ja need mis praegu on loomisel, omavahel ei suhtle, siis tihtipeale mõnes teises liikmesriigis võibki puududa informatsioon, et teises riigis on tehtud tagasisaatmisotsus. Ja bürokraatia sellisel juhul hakkab dubleeruma ja see tagasisaatmine venib ja venib ja venib.
Well, on the first part of your question, I remind you that we have the African Trust Fund. So it's not only about promises. What's the most important is to give money. And I would like to commend Estonia. Today, Estonia pledged to contribute financially. So Estonia is a good paradigm for all the others.
Okay, thank you very much. This concludes this press conference. Welcome back tomorrow.